Good day, everyone, and welcome to FXDD live webinar, How to Create Your Own Trading Strategy. My name is Anand, and before we start, have in mind that Forex trading carries a high level of risk that is not suitable for all investors. Leverage creates additional risk exposure and loss exposure. Before you start to trade live, please educate yourselves on the risks associated with Forex market. Everything you see and hear from me is my personal opinion only. On these web addresses, you can sign up for more live educational and trading videos. And today's agenda is basically understanding trade possibilities, indicators which you need to combine, and how to test your system. There are different ways to actually create your own strategy or trading system. One of the standard ways how you do it is by first deciding which kind of trading you want to conduct. Is it a trend? Is it a counter trend? Is it a breakout or scalping? You need to decide on the way how you trade the system. If you go with a trend, then one set of indicators is enough. With counter trend, usually similar set, but adding one more like divergence indicators, oscillators, can be also enough, more than enough. For breakout, sometimes indicators are even not that important. For scalping, it's heavily dependent on indicators. So before you decide to create your own system, first decide which kind of trades you want to conduct. Then, after you do that, you need to decide on time frames. Time frames can be intra-week or intraday. So it depends which kind of time frame you will use. Intra-week time frames are 5 minutes for scalping, 15 minutes for scalping, 1 hour for day trading. Intra-week trades are usually conducted on 4-hour time frame. If you want to go with midterm trading, then you can use daily chart. For investing, then you use weekly or monthly. I personally don't think that trading anything higher than daily is called trading. So I am sticking to what I know the best, and it is intraday trading. So intraday trading on 1 hour time frame, or eventually, of course, intra-week trading on 4-hour time frame. Define the risk, define stops, entries, and exit. This is what you definitely need to do when you decide about your system. By saying defining the risk, you need to define how you will calculate actually entry, stops, and exit. When you do that, then you calculate what is the average risk that you want to take with your trading system. I personally advise usually the traders go with a little bit conservative risk, but if they are very, very sure in their trading method and the system, then that risk, of course, is subject to correction. Everyone has their own risk limits. Before we delve into a creation of trading system, we need to know about the indicators. We definitely have different classification of indicators, and we need to know the indicators cause and effect. First is our mind. Our mindset is the maybe the strongest indicator for taking the action. I was also explaining this on my live trading webinars, but it's always good to explain it more and actually mention it again, because conscious mind only analyzes and only uses 10% for our decision making. It analyzes, it thinks and plans, and it relies to short-term memory. Our unconscious mind, subconscious mind actually, is not subconscious mind, is something that takes 90% actually to actually put that decision making in the process. It's a long-term memory. It's our emotions. It's for trading. This point 3 is very, very, very important. Habit patterns. Then involuntary bodily functions, creativity, development stages, spiritual connection, and intuition. That is something that our trading mind constantly works on, and especially when it comes to habit patterns. It is, in my opinion, maybe the strongest factor in decision making. If we learn to develop good habits, then our trading routine should not suffer from some emotional spikes, or let alone euphoria that is very, very bad for overall decision making. So when you decide about your system, when you decide about everything, what I explained here, time frames, way of trading, which indicators you will use. Think about mind patterns. Which kind of habits define you as a trader? Are you a full-fledged trader or developing trader? Are you a risk taker or not risk taker? Try to answer all of those important questions. Now, when everything is fine and everything is settled, and you made your own decision that you want to create your training system, first start off with indicators. What is the indicator? Basic premise is that the indicator is something that actually tells us something. Forex indicator is a mirror of price action. Forex indicators can be either trend following, or they can be just simply indicators. Also, an indicator is a mathematical calculation based on the price. When you apply some of the indicators on your chart, the chance is that those indicators will tell you whether the price will go up or down. Indicators also use statistics to measure current conditions and also to forecast financial or economic trends. The main purpose of using indicators is to define a trend, okay, to confirm trend and entry, and to place stop loss and target price. It's also very important when you decide about the system. As I always say, the trend is your friend. I personally prefer trending systems, but you can also try to go with counter trend system. But the basic premise is this: to define a trend, to confirm a trend and entry, and to place stop loss and TP. Leading indicators are usually oscillators, but we have some leading indicators that also can serve as an entry indicator. One of those indicators is CCI, Commodity Channel Index. It's also an entry indicator, but being a leading indicator, it can give us exact measurement if the trend is overbought and oversold. Then we have RSI, stochastics, that is also entry indicator, and different such as QQE. Also, there are Aaron indicators, Bill Williams indicators. There are literally thousands of indicators, not just built by MT4 or MQL that you can find for free on MQL 4 or 5 website, but also customized by traders who know about coding or who paid coders to do them, the indicators based on their calculations. So we all have our, for example, I also use our custom indicators, ECS indicators that I use to trade live on live trading sessions. You can check it, of course, on YouTube. There are also lagging indicators, such as momentum indicators, MACD, that is one of the indicators is MACD, RSI, momentum, rate of change, ROC, and OBV, on balance volume. So those are also important indicators. Usually I call them lagging because they are lagging behind the price. But these indicators can be very, very helpful because they capture the trend. And when you use leading indicator, you actually enter the market. So lagging indicators are used for capturing the trend and momentum, and leading indicators are used for entering in the market. There are also dynamic levels of support and resistance indicators, such as simple SMA, exponential EMA, smooth EMA, linear regress moving average, Bollinger Bands, envelopes, and of course Fibonacci Bands. Fibonacci Bands, also one of very, very, very popular dynamic support and resistance indicators. We also use static support and resistance indicators, such as Fibonacci pivot points, Camarilla, Woody pivot points, standard pivot points, demarked pivot points. Those are also important. Those static support resistance levels are also very important because they tell us where the price is usually going to reject. I like to use both combinations of static indicators and dynamic indicators. And one of the combinations that I like to use is always MACD with Bollinger Bands. That is what it gives me, what has been giving me very, very good results. Usually, to apply for a good trading system, a trader needs to actually use just simple tools and not over clutter the chart with the indicators. Usually, one leading indicator, one lagging indicator, one support and resistance indicator is more than enough. For entries, we can use Fibonacci retracement or well-known entry indicators such as CCI, stochastic, eventually MACD on different settings that they are by default 12, 26, 9. Usually, we use it on different settings. We use lagging indicators to confirm the trend. We use leading indicators to confirm an entry or immediate trend, depending on setting. And we use entry indicator to pinpoint an entry. For support resistance, we use either dynamic or static support and resistance levels. So for this occasion, I am going to use my example because I work with my own indicators, and those indicators are actually coded here, and it's a very, very good example of how a good system should look like. So when you see this is Bollinger Band, and this is higher Bollinger Band. These dots that appear on the chart are usually taken when price gets to overbought and oversold conditions. So when we see overbought and oversold, we actually use them to measure if we are going, for example, in an entry when the price is at extremes, or we are going when price is not in extreme. I prefer to use extremes. For example, if I go counter trend. Good trading system should be very clear. So it should not be clustered with a lot of additional indicators below, because if you add those indicators, the chances that only one indicator that has the biggest success ratio out of all them will work out. So because of that, I use one indicator that is lagging. It's MACD. It's coded into these arrows and dots. Then we have static levels of support and resistance. This is static level. And also these are historical levels of support and resistance. Then we have Camarilla levels that are also static levels of support and resistance. We also use ATR tops and bottoms. But you see, it's very, very easy to read between lines. Everything else is fine. If you cluster, if you go with insert 1, 2, 3, 4 indicators, your main window will get clustered and your trading system will not look like it's a good one, a valid one. So I tend to use simple tools. Just for creation, you open FXDD platform, go to, for example, New Zealand dollar, and just try to actually insert few of those indicators. How you can do it is, for example, just an example. You can remove the grids. Okay, here you can move the chart here like this. Okay, you can do always with candlesticks. And now try to insert, for example, Bollinger Bands. Just a simple example of a good system that uses few indicators. Bollinger Band, okay, standard settings, and use standard commodity channel index CCI. You can use whatever pivots you want. It doesn't matter. But see this, I know this simple trading system from long time ago. When the price is going up, when middle Bollinger Band is going to the upside, you wait for the break of the Bollinger Bands to the downside, okay? When price is at least below minus 100, you go long. Now for this, we need to add levels, and this is easy. With commodity channel index, we set it on 20, we go with 100, and we add minus 100. We have 150. Okay, let's do it step by step. We add 200, and we add minus 200, and this is it. Now you see all these levels. So for example, this was an entry here. Price going below Bollinger Band, closing inside when price is oversold. Below minus 100 at least. It was minus 200. When prices are dropping, the middle Bollinger Band line will have an angle like this, similar to buy trades, just the opposite. Price is breaking above Bollinger, going inside Bollinger, and CCI is at least above 100. I prefer to see it 150 or 200. So you see, simple trading method, simple tools to use, and still can be effective if you time your risk and the exact entry along with the actual major sessions. Don't forget that major sessions are European session, it's London session, New York session, and Tokyo session. So try not to clutter the indicators on your chart because it will look very, very bad. For example, if you clutter the indicator like this, okay, it will look very, very, and it can actually slow down your platform. So just putting a lot of these indicators definitely will do nothing to your platform. And guys, do not forget to trade as simple as you can. I always say the simple is the best, so keep it simple. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. This webinar is being recorded. It will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And of course, I will reply. If you have any questions, you can ask also about this simple tool, such as this Bollinger Band CCI trading system. But just to get back, use this to create your own trading method. You don't need to use anything that is complicated, anything that can actually uh, put you into the territory where you don't know what you're doing. Why I'm saying this? Because I saw a lot of systems that were marketed to work, and there was no proof that these systems work. For example, I use FXDD live account, and I trade my own method called Camarilla MACD, and this account is connected to my FX book. So you can always check the performance on my FX book, how this account is performing. So that is why I'm saying do not overcomplicate the things by adding something that is virtually impossible to trade with. I have tested a lot of systems in my past, and I can fully guarantee you that the more the indicators on the chart the system has, it will slow down the platform. And not just that, it will be very, very hard for you to find your way in that trading system. So be very, very careful when you actually when you try to create it. When you do it, let the time show if your system is good or not. When you finally are done with creation, try to trade it on demo account, or even better, guys, open a small account. It's easy, guys. Open you have a FXDD account, just open a small account and then test your trading system. You can afford, I mean, I did it like this. I invest 200, 500 euros and see if my system is working, taking small trades. If I can make 1, 2, 5, 10% on the account that is 500, I can also do it on 50,000. So it's just about taking everything is the same, taking the same trades, just with, of course, bigger lot size if the account is higher. So don't be afraid to invest small money if you're sure into your system, and test it how it goes with trading the real money. I hope that this helped. I wish you a very good day. And of course, if you have any other questions, do not hesitate to ask me. I wish you a great trading day, guys. Okay. And cheers and trade safe. See you soon. And yeah, one more thing. Do not forget to sign up for more live educational and trading webinars on these web addresses. See you soon. Cheers.